In this video, you're gonna learn 3 tips to become a better catcher so you can win your starting spot, play varsity, and maybe even go play college or pro. Make sure you stick around for tip number 3. If you don't know who I am, my name is Coach Bourgeois, and I transitioned from infield to catcher my junior year of college. And I make these videos because I wish that I had these when I made that transition. All right, let's jump in. Number 1, if you've been following me, you know what it's gonna be. It's get into a good stance. The reason this is so important is because a good stance makes everything easier, and a bad stance makes everything harder. So if you haven't taken the 7-day stance challenge yet, go to catchingmadesimple.com/stance and get a free 7-day course with a 5-minute video each day. There's 5 main stances you need to know. Number 1, the sign stance, hang loose distance apart. If you know, you know. Number 2, a primary stance should be shaped like an M. Number 3, a secondary stance should be shaped like a table. Number 4, a single knee stance should be shaped kind of like an N without this side. And number 5, a modified kickstand. I don't really know what shape this is. So again, if you haven't gotten the 7-day stance challenge, go grab it at catchingmadesimple.com/stance. Tip number 2 is film yourself. Get a tripod. This was 20 bucks on Amazon, and get out and film yourself. I'd recommend filming a baseline video where you film yourself going through all the stances, receiving, blocking, and even throwing, and then continuing to film yourself so you know what to work on. Bonus points if you get a slow motion app where you can draw lines on it. I do this with catchers in what we call the 4-week catching fundamental challenge, and it's really, really effective. And number 3, follow a process to get better. Now, I talk about this in episode 4 of the Catching Made Simple podcast if you want to check that out. But the process I use with my catchers is what's called the Catching Made Simple method. And it's 5 levels to learning or 5 levels to skill development. And here's how it works. First, we practice the movement. Catching is such a movement-specific sport that you could throw one of the best athletes in the world behind here and they wouldn't be very good right off the bat because they don't know the specific movements that a catcher requires. It's a very unique position. You're in a unique squat. You have unique movements as you catch and block, all that stuff. So you got to learn how to move. That's the biggest problem that catchers have, is they've never been taught how to move. Then because they move slow, they're late. Because they're late, they flinch. Because they flinch, they get hit wrong, and then they get afraid. That's how it goes. So first, learn how to move. The second step is you add in a baseball. And as you can imagine, as soon as you add in a baseball, all the stuff that we just learned how to do as we were moving to block, or if we're going here, as soon as we throw a baseball, they get back to this position and it hits them in the neck and all that stuff. So then you got to go back and repeat those steps, learn how to move, and then add in a ball. Now, once we can move with the ball, then we're going to increase the variables. That's step number 3. So increasing the variables means throwing it harder, potentially throwing it to different locations, maybe using a different weight in the ball. There's a lot of variables that we can increase, maybe throwing it from a different angle. There's a lot of variables that we can increase. Step number 4 is going to be sharpening our decision making. So once you learn how to move correctly, that's great, but you still have to decide whether it's going to be in the air and you need to catch it, or it's going to be in the dirt and you need to block it. And you need reps in order to sharpen that decision making. And finally, step number 5 is let it eat in the game. Once you go back behind the plate, don't think about anything. Turn it off and just tell yourself, this pitch right here, I'm gonna win this pitch. If you're thinking about your movement, if you're thinking about your body while you're in the game, it's not gonna work. If you're thinking about the pitch before that you did well or that you made a mistake on, or you're thinking about after the game when you're worried that your dad's gonna get mad at you for making a mistake, you're not gonna be present in that moment. So tell your mind this pitch and get present and win that pitch. So there you have it, my 3 best tips for you as you're learning how to catch is: number 1, get into a good stance. Number 2, film yourself. And number 3, follow a proven process that will help you get better. If you're interested in working with me at Catching Made Simple, I have a program called the 4-week Catching Fundamentals Challenge, where we walk through all of those 3 things: how to get you into a good stance, how to teach you to move, how to get you to film yourself every day, and it's pretty darn effective. So if you're interested in going further with me at Catching Made Simple, go ahead and reach out to us. There's a link in the description that you can use to connect with us, and we're super excited to talk to you soon. I'm Coach Bourgeois with Catching Made Simple, and I'm rooting for you.